At Builders First Source, we're harnessing the power of innovation to transform the future of home building. With 14 facilities across Montana, Builders First Source is your one-stop shop for building materials. From lumber and windows to trusses and siding, whether you're building single-family homes or multifamily units, we've got you covered. Visit BLDR.com to learn more. Builders First Source, building Montana's future, one home at a time.
Here in the Treasure State, the Montana Cup up for grabs. Teams vying for in-state supremacy, bragging rights, whatever you want to call it. The folks from over Rogers Pass against a team from over in Bozeman, Montana. Two familiar teams from this great state. It's the University of Providence Argos and the Montana State Bobcats. Our 2025 Montana Cup Final. Glad to have everybody along with us. We're here at Steed Arena in Helena, Montana on the ESPN MT app, grizzhockey.com. Both teams advancing to this Montana Cup Final yesterday in two very different ways. Great hockey game last night to wrap up the first day of the Montana Cup, featuring Montana and the University of Providence. These same Argos was an instance where Providence again led most of the way against the Grizz, but like how Montana did all year long against Providence, gave them a battle so many times, those two teams, in the 6 times they met, seeing 1-goal differentials, seeing an overtime game in that series this season as well. But how the previous 5 contests had gone, folks from Great Falls found a way to scrape out a win. A big part of it being able to hold off in allowed 1 goal in a 5-minute major penalty, with Providence leading by 2 in the 3rd period. Max Toyla, the Grizz leading scorer, scored about 2 minutes into the 5-minute major, so still about 3 minutes to go, with a man advantage for the Grizz, trailing at that point by just 1. But they were able to keep the Grizz out of the back of the net from that point forward, and were able to tick off the final about 5-6 minutes, not allowing anything, an empty net sequence also a part of it, as Montana eventually fell to Providence 3-2. Our first game of this Montana Cup featured the Ore Diggers of Montana Tech. First year in a reboot of the program. Hadn't been in the ACHA since around 2019. Brand new team, only had 9 skaters on the ice to the Ore Diggers against a monster and an opponent like the Bobcats have been. We mentioned yesterday how they are headed to the national championship tournament as a top-ranked team in the Western region. Clearly without a big challenge, and you could see that yesterday. MSU all day, every day here at Steed Arena to open up the tournament, 18-0 final tally. Now, the Bobcats did have a bit of a different look. A number of their more normal skaters, thinking about starting defenseman Caleb Brownell, Tegan McAvoy, Jurgen Johnson, amongst others. Jake Parent, just to name a few, did not suit up in yesterday's game, but every player that I just mentioned, Owen Davis, the defenseman, being another guy we didn't see out here yesterday, all those guys were on the ice for pregame warm-ups for the Bobcats. So a full squad for this matchup. Bobcats are taking the ice, taking on the Providence Argos. Mentioned two familiar teams, and thinking about this venue, surely the fans here in Helena will be looking for the type of game what they saw in October. One of the wildest hockey games you'll ever see. A game that was won by the Argos in a shootout. Providence was able to thwart a 5-on-3 power play, the parts of the end game sequence as well. Just a crazy scenario. But in the season series overall, the Bobcats had a distinct advantage, especially thinking about the last two games these two teams played in the month of January. Getting together last just about a month ago in Haynes Pavilion in Bozeman, a game just absolutely dominated by the Bobcats. 8-0 victory for MSU. So on the flip side of that equation, if you're Providence, you obviously you remember that contest, and you may have a bone to pick with these Bobcats, looking for a little revenge and a little bit of juice for them going into the West Regional Tournament. Bobcats mentioned they already are headed to Nationals, being one of the two teams, along with University of Utah, conference champion from last weekend in Missoula. Those the two teams advanced to Nationals. We'll take a look at the starters on both sides after the national anthem here at Steed Arena. All right, live introductions, national anthem in the books. Saw that brand new silver trophy for the Montana Cup down at the scorer's table. Somebody will be going home with some hardware. Will it be the folks from Bozeman or the folks from Great Falls? We'll find out momentarily. Look at the starters. The Argos, the road team technically in this neutral site battle. Two starting defensemen, Sam Duhlmeyer along with Jamal Shaw. Starting wingers and center, Adam Husley, their leading scorer from the regular season, the assistant captain, flanked by the Norway native Fabian Vick and Joel Kalov. For the Bobcats, starting center, the conference leader in points, Hayden Clem, flanked by his buddies Vinny Farina and Dawson Speck. Two starting defensemen as Sam Duhlmeyer sees the puck come into the Argo zone to get us going in this Montana Cup final. Two starting defensemen, Caleb Bronell, over 100 games played, and Fisher starting out there for Tyler Fisher for the Bobcats. Dawson Speck will take the shot, challenging tonight's starting goalie, Chris Fines, for right on cue for Providence. He made 10 starts during the regular season. Saw Paul Jarvis out there yesterday for Providence. I thought at times made some big saves in that game against the Grizzlies. Made saves at big moments in instances where it looked like Montana had good opportunities to put the puck in the back of the net. Hayden Clem on a rebound chance. Sees, as we called it last night, roof ruckus going off the roof. Not even 30 seconds in. Saw that be a theme in last night's game between Montana and Providence, just seeing bang, the puck going off the roof here at Steed Arena. What the heck, let's keep track of it. Roof ruckus number one, as Colby Frederick, the team captain, will take a face-off against Isaac Ellingson. Elliot Vanini had it on his stick for just a moment. He had a goal in last night's game. Goal for Vanini ended up being the difference for the Argos in a 3-2 win. Here comes Nicholas Demchuk, dumping it in to the right of Jurgen Johnson, the all-everything senior captain for the Bobcats. Duke Serpeski in this Montana Cup entering the zone. The Billings native shoots one across the crease. This will be taken towards neutralized by Vanini and dumping it in to the right of Johnson. What a monster year he had, did Jurgen Johnson. Save percentage over 95, GAA under 1.4. Chris Vines, a good season also in 10 starts. Save percentage 91.3. Jarvis also, both goalies, pretty close to splitting time as the defenseman Tegan McAvoy will find Stanislav Struthers, having it being intercepted, the graduate student. Now Caden Bolter, pass up ahead, partially knocking it around the near blue line. McAvoy backhands it back out of the zone, only to see it being sent back in. Near circle, McAvoy meets it there. Denham Young, his normal line mate defensively, dumps it down the far dasher. Icing with 18-10. No score here in our opening period in Helena. Nearly 2 minutes into our first period. Face off in the corner. Up the wall towards the blue line, backhanded, and keeping it alive briefly will be Ben Sutton, finding the puck behind Johnson in the cage. 17:55, sending one Vinny Farina's way. Gets crunched against the boards, but in support, McAvoy able to find Young. Far dasher to get him out of the zone. Neutral ice, Young hits the deck. 2 Argos knock him down. Loose puck ends up going back towards McAvoy, who plays it off the far wall. Bobcats trying to settle it down now with Jake Parent. Back handing it neutral ice, but right to Struthers. Here comes the former Montana Grizzly, Tobias Robinson. Blockers stop on the near post on the shot from Robinson. Black Diamond, Washington native. 17:20 now in our first period. 4 bodies trapped behind the boards, now going up at the point. Duhlmeyer, shot directed into the corner by Johnson. Now into neutral ice, puck coming down the near dasher once more. This will be icing again with 17:06 in our first period. Surely a busy night in the sport of hockey. Probably maybe a few screen watchers around the hockey world thinking about the Four Nations face-off. Canada and USA over in Montreal taking place right now, actually. Bobcats advance it with Luke Jurgensen through neutral ice. The veteran comes far post, poke check. Sam Duhlmeyer knocks it away, eventually ends up with it. Far dasher, poking it back, Hayden Clem. Scoots into the middle, finds Fisher. Near circle shot, finds with a pad stop, and he will hold on with 16:41. Able to catch the first game today, Norway and Finland at that four-nation face-off. Overtime, what a fun game that was. Real competitive, and we've seen some fun games over in Montreal. Couple overtime games, Canada and Sweden. Just awesome stuff. Sweden and Finland, the overtime game. It was won actually by Finland. Fun stuff in the Four Nations face-off. Got action there tonight in Montreal before action shifts to the U.S. next week in Boston at TD Garden. 16:24, we'll see a stoppage of play with the puck now going back into the offensive zone of the Argos here. And a penalty has also been called against the Bobcats. Heading into the sin bin, Dawson Speck gets called for a penalty here with 16:24. Argos lead the first team with a man advantage. Kobe Frederick, he'll take a shot, directing it towards the glove of Johnson, but holding on was Johnson, was the man right in front of the net for Providence. Defenseman Zach Fulton was right there on the doorstep. Adam Husley takes the draw, sees it go towards Wes Ennis. Poked down the far dasher now out of the attacking zone. Retreating is Kalov. Now will come with some speed down the near side. Chasing after him, Ellingson and Serpeski knocking it loose. Davis able to knock it towards the near siding of the cage. Bodies hitting the deck everywhere as Husley is the man who went down with some contact from Serpeski. Looking around for a call, doesn't look like he's going to get anything, as we'll see a near circle face-off here 25 seconds into the penalty. Minute 35 left for Speth in the box. 16 minutes, 4 minutes gone in our first. Face-off to the left of the Bobcats bench, cycled behind the net. Dedham Young looks to meet it, backhands it, but not out. Holding the zone, Argos far blue line. now sending it into the near corner. Couple of white shirts around it, one of them being Ryan Larice, who dumps it down the ice. Another man we didn't see out there yesterday. Short-handed Hayden Clem, killing some time off in the offensive zone. Couple of bodies around him, hits the deck, but is able to tick off probably about 20 seconds or so as we near the 1 minute mark remaining in this penalty now right there with the puck in the attacking zone of Montana State. Husley lost it, far corner, cleared again by the Bobcats. Couple new penalty killers check on. One of them being Jake Parents, who see patrol things near the blue line. Neutral ice. Bobcats meet it right at the red line. Nicely done by Fisher. Tyler Fisher gets his stick on that one. Down the near boards. Here comes Providence trying to get back into the zone with Vick. Vick cycles it around the wall to the far boards, meeting at Bronell initially. Bringing it back around, looking to the point. Jamal Shaw, shot knocked down. Before it could get anywhere close to the net in that instance by Jurgensen. Shaw will try again off the skate of Fisher and out of play. Up and over the cage with 14:38. Dawson Speth will come out of the box now in 14 seconds. Daniel Tainton on the face-off for Providence. Sees Bronell battle for it along with two Argos. One of them being Vick and Clem. With a war for it. 3, 2, 1. Bobcats full strength with Shaw losing the zone. Pokes back in neutral ice. Bronell spinning around, loses the deck. Here comes Davis. Tyler Davis scored yesterday. Poked into the corner. A big hit applied by Speth. Down he goes in the near corner. Delayed penalty coming. Taking the shot, Shaw. Stopping it with the glove is Johnson. A big hit there in the near corner. Hitting the deck. It was Speth who delivered the blow. With 14:06 now left. Penalty called to Speth for boarding. And good to see this as well. Caleb West, the defenseman who took the hit in the near corner, is now gliding towards the bench for Providence in his own power. That was a physical blow there in the corner. Adam Husley wins the draw. Back on a power play, Providence. Near wall, now into the middle, stick on the ice. Frederick, one-timer, Husley, not much on it. Rebound, comes circle to Husley, a gun, lunging out for it. Stopping it is Johnson. Right on the bottom right-hand post, Jurgen Johnson, the captain, able to put his mitts on that one. Adam Husley partially fanned the first shot, a kind of a knuckleball. Got it back on a rebound chance. Got surely more on the second shot he had. 15 seconds into the penalty, comes out of the zone. Bolter will have to retreat, finds Frederick. Kobe Frederick comes to Kalov. Down the far boards, he'll come into the middle now, Husley. Adam Husley. Behind the play, Bolter keeps it alive. Frederick, rich shot, goes to the right of the cage. Alive on the near post. Serpeski tried to get it out, but sent it over the glass and out of play to the left of the Bobcat bench. A whole new contingent will now come on for MSU. A minute 23 for Speth still. 13:28 first period. No score so far. Husley to take the face-off. Face-off ends up with McAvoy. Trapped in the corner, though, by a pair of Argos trying to get it out. Parent got a piece of it on the half wall, still keeping it alive. Kalov slides it far side. Off the skate of Husley, now shorthanded. Here comes Parent towards the attacking zone. Spokane native had it taken away partially by Frederick, so comes now into the corner. Kalov regains possession. Down the far dasher. Sets it up towards the attacking zone. Chipped in to the right of the net. McAvoy wins the race to it. Not out, though, knocking it down at the half wall. Frederick tried to cycle it around. Instead, it's cleared down by MSU. 40 seconds left with a man advantage. Ryan Larice now on a race for the puck. He puts in on the brakes. Near corner in the attacking zone. Kills off a few seconds as Fabian Vick will now regather behind his own cage. Neutralized feed. Here comes Shaw. Attacking zone. Two white shirts around him. Clem backhands it out right as he enters the zone. Seconds ticking down here as we approach the 12-minute mark in the period. Seconds ticking down on the penalty. Maybe one more rush into the zone. Demchuk taking off the puck, retreating west. And the Bobcats now also full strength, with Vinny Phelps being the fifth skater gliding on for the Bobcats. 8 minutes gone in our first period. No score. MSU able to thwart two power play chances of the Argos. See if now their offense can get going with action now back to 5-on-5. Ben Sutton couldn't find it. Neutralized. Goes right back towards Johnson behind. Fisher to the far blue line. Breaking out to Sutton with some speed now. Attacking zone. Three blue sweaters around him. See Dolmeyer fire at far side. Puck partially intercepted in the far circle. Now a battle for it. Eventually backhanded out of the zone by Charles Luplo, one of the assistant captains. Meeting it behind, finds with nobody around him. Argos play it past a man on a breakout feed. Behind from Fines. Allows Ennis to get back on it. The defenseman for the Cats, who runs into Speth, trying to enter the zone. Argos see it now with Drewmeyer. Sends it back to the far post. Plain catch. Drewmeyer back with it now. He's going to look for an alley past Farina. That's going to be tough. He's got plenty of speed as Speth keeps it in. Speth seeing the hand come up. Delayed penalty coming, and a whistle sounds with 10:44 to acknowledge that. Tripping has been called against Providence. So the Argos going to the box for the first time. The guilty party, Tobias Robinson for UP. 10:44. Bobcats now have a chance with a man advantage. 3 penalties in the first half of this first period. Mention the 2 to the Cats, now 1 to Providence. Face-off ends up going to the near blue line. Bronell out there with Sutton. Serpeski, far circle feed. Back to Bronell. Looks it over. Backpedals a bit. Now cycles it towards Ellingson behind the cage. Ellingson slid to Noah Youngkin. Now Bronell. Wrister is bouncing to the right. Struthers gets something on it. Can he clear it near boards? Battle for it. Battle for it. Eventually settled down by Sutton, near post. Cycled by Ellingson. Serpeski keeps it on the opposite side of the rink from us. Comes loose in the slot. Now the near circle with Bronell. Sent it back towards the far blue line. Past a man, now retreating. The Bobcats out of the zone. Ellingson enters it back in. Serpeski. Far corner. Adam Husley. Had it for a second on the stick, trying to clear, couldn't get it out. Found the stick of Bronell. Sutton, near point. Ellingson, near post. Comes to the opposite side of the ice. Centers one, it went right through the legs of Bronell. Right in the middle. 45 seconds left for Robinson, still in the box as Husley tries to chase Bronell off the puck. Hayden Clements support, has it back. Gets it back to Bronell, near Dasher. Backhanded towards Clem, pass in front of him. Frederick couldn't regather to clear it back down. Clem centers one towards the far post. Speth, he scores! Hayden Clem to Speth. That monster first line does it again for the Bobcats. On the power play, it's 1-0 MSU. Great feed to the bottom left-hand post. Speth was waiting for it. Hayden Clem was able to feed it right to the stick, and Speth was able to bury it. Out of Haley, Idaho, 20-plus goals in the regular season. He adds 1 here at this Montana Cup to get the Bobcats off and rolling at the 9:10 mark of period number 1, taking the lead. Caden Bolter will send it to the left of Johnson. McAvoy will be the first one to meet it, though, with 9 remaining in the period. Denham Young able to get it to Jurgensen and Parent. 2-on-1. Add odd man rush other way. Parent shoots, and he scores! Top right-hand corner. Jake Parent on a 2-on-1, the senior veteran. Just like that, it's 2-0 Cats. I guess they're calling him Superman with a little celebration coming to the bench. Great shot, top shelf, knocking the Johnny Walker off of it. 8:51 first period. Bobcats land a big gut punch. Jamal Shaw was back there defensively, but he was all alone, with the Bobcats running into the zone with Jurgensen and Jake Parents. 8:40, 2-0 Cats. With the top team in the West, now trying to be the top team in the Treasure State here at this Montana Cup. And how will the Argos respond? Husley tried to set it up on a pass from the far dasher. Knocked around McAvoy, great stretch pass to Ellingson. Dropped it, Serpeski. He shoots. Serpeski, the Billings native, had it blocked in front by the defensive Ozika. Young, another Billings native, holds the zone. Ellingson near post. Still trapped behind. Eventually a whistle sounds. Stopping play with 8:10 to go in our first period. Looks like we have a media timeout here in our first period. 8:10 left. 2-0 Bobcats in a blink of an eye here in the last few moments. This is the 2025 Montana Cup. Bobcats lead the Argos 2-0.
University of Montana, we meet health with heart. Since 1893, Grizzlies have served on the front line of medical innovation, preparing for the future of health and wellness. Our medical school acceptance rate is 20% above the national average. With more than 72 pathways to a career in health, UM is training the next generation of healthcare professionals. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
At the Stone of
At Builders First Source, we're harnessing the power of innovation to transform the future of home building. With 14 facilities across Montana, Builders First Source is your one-stop shop for building materials. From lumber and windows to trusses and siding, whether you're building single-family homes or multi-family units, we've got you covered. Visit BLDR.com to learn more. Builders First Source, building Montana's future, one home at a time.
Store and Casino.
First period action with now under 8 to go. A push from the Bobcats. Last couple of minutes, a 2-0 advantage. Looking for more. Shot from the far blue line. Ennis let it go. Bozeman native, former Ice Dog, at the half wall. Ennis back with it. Looks, fires towards the far post. As bodies now hit the deck. Looks like we got another penalty coming here. Seeing Johnson glide towards the bench. Call against the Argos looks to be for hooking. Indeed, hooking call against UP with 7:35 in our first. And if you're the Argos in this spot, you have to be careful. Bobcats have got some momentum humming, and we've seen in games in past, thinking back to the conference tournament, when this offense gets going, it can be a monster to stop. Elliot Vanini, the guilty party on the penalty for the Argos for hooking, as I mentioned. Near post. Thinking back to the conference semifinal against Utah State last weekend. It was an avalanche in the second period. 4 goals seemingly before you could blink of an eye. Bobcats already have 2 in this period and have a man advantage for the next 90 seconds. To me, this feels vital that Providence is able to get a penalty kill here to stem some of the tide back to their bench. Hayden Clem, does he have thoughts of more points? Has already got an assist. Centering feed. Ends up with Ennis in the near circle. Knocked down by a couple of skates and back into neutral ice with Speck. Speck finds Clem. Some space. He shoots off the near post. Hayden Clem almost buried it from the far circle. Very close. Got a big chunk of that right post. 50 seconds left, and the Argos can breathe a sigh of relief for now, as that very well could have been 3-0. If you want to find someone that is a finisher in this league. Hayden Clem is one of the best. Big hit applied. Saying hello there, Jonathan O'Brien, far boards, hello. Bronell keeps it alive. Sutton walks it in. His shot is out of the zone, going down the far boards. 20 seconds left for Vanini in the box as Robinson, screaming into the defensive zone, puts on the brakes. Bronell, here's Sutton, Vancouver native, into the attacking zone. Sutton shoots near circle. Last couple of seconds ticking off. 3, 2, 1. Argos do find a big penalty kill. Sutton a big drive though, keeping it alive. Vines hit the deck. Shaw sends it high, and down the ice it goes. Get close to it, runs into Johnson's stick. So we see another whistle stop play, and yet another penalty is coming here. 5:22. It has just been penalty city here in Helena so far. My goodness. Macy calls on both sides here. Penalty one called for roughing. And it looks like Duke Serpeski of the Bobcats is the only man called for an infraction. So nothing against Providence there, roughing against Serpeski. So UP will have a man advantage now at the 5:16 mark. I believe that is 5 penalties here in this first period alone. Math not my strong suit, so hard to keep track. Jake Perrin sends it towards the defensive zone, but right to West. West finds some space into the middle for Demchuk and Teton, entering the zone fit. In the near corner now. 90 seconds still on the penalty. Near circle, backhander. Stop Denham Young, takes some of the pressure off. Jamal Shaw tries. Redirected shot to the right of the cage. Goes back to the point. West looks to Shaw on the feed. Tries to pass one into the slot. Knocked down and dumped down the near boards. Nicely done. Knocking the pass down and clearing it. One fatal swoop by McAvoy. And now he's on the bench. Here comes Frederick. Look out for this cat. He's got speed. Colby Frederick. Couple of men around him. Has it knocked into the corner. Cycles back on the far post. Bobcats find it there with Ennis and clear it down. 40 seconds left with a man advantage for UP. Out of the Electric City. Almost had it taken away in the defensive zone. Ends up shorthanded with Larice. He'll retreat to Davis. Davis, stretch pass just ahead of Ellingson. He had some space on the far side of the ice there. That stretch pass found the former Williston State Teton. That might have been dangerous, shorthanded in that instance. Another cat with speed, a guy that typically is a facilitator offensively with a lot of assists. Husley, a shot blocker stop on the near post. Still alive, Kalov takes a hit. Gets it towards Bolter in the far corner. Ennis finishes it out of there. 3, 2, 1. Bobcats full strength as Davis approaches the zone. Will be Mundell checking on. Putting on the brakes, Davis still has it. Mundell tried to send it into the middle. Frederick met it behind, couldn't get it out. Bronell keeps it alive on the near boards now. Ellingson shot off the skate of O'Brien. Able to get it up the ice now. O'Brien shot knocked down by Fisher. Rebound from Lupolo. Ends up with Jurgen Johnson. Instance where the rebound bounced to the right. And Lupolo charging towards the net ended up with the opportunity in that spot. But Johnson was able to hold on. Lupolo and Johnson, two veterans in this program, both with over 60 appearances in their respective careers, surely have seen a lot of one another. Two Midwest guys also. Lupolo, a Minnesota native, Jurgen Johnson from Michigan. Ozika shot knocked down by Mundell. Still alive though in the near corner, cycled by Lupolo towards O'Brien. O'Brien in the far corner, under 3 to go. Bobcats holding a 2-0 lead. Slides all the way back towards Janssens, the defenseman. Backhanded by Parent, out of the zone. Has one of the 2 goals in this period for the Cats. Together for Dawson Speth on an assist from Hayden Clem on a power play. Settled things down a bit after that push from the Bobcats in this period. Argos would love to get something to stem the tide in their direction here in these last 2 minutes and change in this period. Bronell, attacking zone, looking far dasher, centering feed off a couple of skates. Parent gets to it, fans a shot, sends it far post. Now a battle as it comes now into the near corner. Off the skate of Jackson Mundell. Near side now. Stretch pass, neutral ice. Met first by a Bobcat. It was Bronell, and now he will check off. Under 2 to go in the period. Way up the ice. Pass will be all the way down to Johnson, icing it in that instance. Looking for Darnell Glasgow in neutral ice, number 18 there. Way up ahead on the pass. Could not find it. 1:42 before our first intermission. Face off. Up the wall a bit. Backhanded towards the stick of Clem and neutral ice. Retreats to Fisher. Now Denham Young plays it off the near dasher. Clem able to find it, getting it into the offensive zone, trickling behind the cage. Providence meets it there, tries to chop it back out. Puck ends up going into the bench of UP near Trevor Murtel, the head coach. 1:24 left in our first. Period number 1 of the Montana Cup final here in Helena. Hayden Clem on the draw. Sees it come the near blue line. Bronell's shot directed towards, ending up with it Farina. Vinny Farina to Clem on the near post, putting on the brakes, trying to find some space. Clem passes it across. He finds Smith again, making it 3-0. From the near post slides, a pass across. Hayden Clem, another assist. Dawson Speth scores his second of the period to make it 3-0 Bobcats. Montana State looking to make a statement here at this Montana Cup. What a first period for them. Mentioned that the Argos, with about 2 minutes and change left, they would love to find something trailing. At that point, 2-0, try to stem the tide back their direction to trail by just 1 potentially. Bobcats had other ideas. Now the mountain is just all that much taller. Under a minute now in our first period. As it comes towards the near post, Johnson thought about coming out for it. Then Sutton was able to get something towards the far boards. Sutton now in the corner. Sends it back this way near the bench. Vinny Feltz able to get it to Davis. Owen Davis, the defenseman, into the attacking zone. Sends one into the middle. Shot redirected to the right of the cage. Now into neutral ice with 30 seconds. Down the near boards. Johnson wants icing, and yes, we will see icing here. With 30 seconds now exactly left in the first period, Bobcats off to a great start, leading 3-0. Thanks for joining us tonight on the ESPN MT app, GrizzHockey.com, and Steed TV. Face-off, Ellingson wins it. Maurice Davis, near side. Davis shot ends up going high. Hand is up. Another delayed penalty here against the Argos as Johnson heads to the bench. 20 seconds left. An extra skater on for the Cats. Centering feed. Ryan Larice has it kicked around. Argos got enough on it to stop play with now 12 seconds left in the period. So we will see 1:48, just about a penalty time, go into the second period for the Bobcats. Another feather in the cap for MSU in a first period that has seen them grasp every ounce of momentum in this one. Nicholas Demchuk was called for the penalty. 12 seconds remaining. And actually, beg your pardon, Denham Young was also called for an infraction for the Bobcats. Seeing that now also. 10 seconds left. Shot now stopped by Fines on the near post. So now a power play 4-on-4 now skating on both sides as the first period comes to an end. So Demchuk and Denham Young were both called for penalties, and indeed it will be 148 for both of those respective players going into our second period. End of one here in Helena. A first stanza that the Bobcats were humming along through. An interesting sequence for both teams. The next few weeks looks much different for both outfits. We've mentioned how both teams are headed to the postseason, just in two separate ways. Bobcats, we said earlier, the top team in the West, advancing to the national championship tournament directly versus having to play in the West Regional to do so for the second consecutive season. Do so as the top-ranked team in the West. Despite winning the conference tournament last Saturday, University of Utah stayed at number 2. Same place they entered going into that tournament last week. University of Providence, nothing to sneeze at either, thinking about it being an instance where they were ranked number 5. So they will have a bye in that first round of the West Regional in Westminster in the Denver area. Unlike Montana, the third team from the Treasure State, knowing what awaits them, no bye for the Grizzlies, being the 11th seed in that tournament. Face off with Grand Canyon in the first round next Thursday. Providence will face off with the second highest remaining seed, depending on who wins first round games that will be played. Other teams in the conference that will see action in the first round will be, I guess just thinking about it, only the number 7 seeded Utah State Aggies. Still other teams from the Western region at that tournament. The other team there that received a bye, Weber State, just missed for the second year in a row, advancing directly to nationals. That's how the Wildcats got there last season. It was Montana State and Weber State that advanced to nationals directly last year. This season it was another Beehive State team, as I mentioned earlier, Utah, joining the Cats. So still, point being, Bobcats know they're going to be at nationals. The national tournament is almost exactly a month away in the St. Louis region, March 14th through the 18th. So if you're the Cats in this spot, you won't be able to play another live opponent in a competitive environment like this. Neutral Barn.
At Builders First Source, we're harnessing the power of innovation to transform the future of home building. With 14 facilities across Montana, Builders First Source is your one-stop shop for building materials. From lumber and windows to trusses and siding, whether you're building single-family homes or multifamily units, we've got you covered. Visit BLDR.com to learn more. Builders First Source, building Montana's future, one home at a time.
Because, and this could be said on both sides, the last thing you want to see in an instance like this, again, this game has no bearing on standings, just playing it for pride here, bragging rights here in the Treasure State of Montana. Just don't want to see anybody get injured, that sort of situation. So after things, how they played out in this first period, Argos surely looking to play physical like they typically do, seeing the penalties in this first period being Exhibit A, and the Bobcats standing up to that a few times, seeing Dawson Smeth go to the box twice, saw coinciding, or 2 penalties called on both sides, seeing 4-on-4 bring our first period to a close. Just a few examples of proof of concept, I guess you could say, with 2 teams being a little frisky with one another. But with everything still out in front of both these teams, not that The Montana Cup surely doesn't mean a lot to these players, but you still have to keep that broad view of postseason hockey in the back of your mind also. Bobcats surely with all the momentum after one, but still plenty of time for Trevor Mertel's side to try to turn things around in their direction as we start thinking about the second period now. With the Bobcats out in front of the Argos in this first ever Montana Cup. Score at the first intermission is 3-0 MSU. It's been fun bringing you college hockey throughout the course of the regular season. GrizzHockey.com, the ESPN MT app. It's been also awesome getting to know a lot of the different cultures around these programs. Been covering the Grizzlies the last few years, have gotten to know Dave Weaver, the head coach of the Bobcats, pretty well over the last couple of seasons. First-year head coach Trevor Mertel, had him on our radio show back in Missoula, interviewing this week. Met with Colby Frederick, the team captain. Also talked with the captain of the Bobcats earlier this season, Jurgen Johnson. Just getting an eye view of these two great programs and great people that are a part of these programs. Not to be left out, Montana, same deal with them. Marcus Baxter, their head coach, has been a great addition to the program for the Grizzlies and a great person off the ice as well, a family man. Same could be said for Dave Weaver as well. And that's just great to see that the treasure state of Montana and this West region seeing not just good hockey on the ice, but good people off of it, representing these programs, cultivating great cultures. That's how events like this grow. That's how the hockey culture in Treasure State grows. More good things you put into it from a culture standpoint, the more good teams play hockey in this region, the better it'll be for everybody. So, talked about Montana Tech yesterday as well, despite taking it on the chin against the Bobcats. Clearly was a tough situation for them. A lot of folks on the shelf, injuries and whatnot for the Ore Diggers. They still came out and fought, and they still are trying to build a competitive culture over there, playing a full schedule of games, doing all the things right, so to speak, to try to get the culture turned in the right direction. Love to see that as well. It surely seems like college hockey in the Treasure State of Montana is in the right direction. Whether you're in Missoula or Bozeman, Great Falls or Butte, good stuff here in Montana proper. This is the Montana Cup, the 2025 first iteration of it. Montana State Bobcats, the top-ranked team in the West, advancing to the National Championship Tournament for the second year in a row. They surely look the part so far, leading the fifth-ranked Providence Argos 3-0 after the end of our first period. On the ESPN MT app, GrizzHockey.com, and streaming live on Steed TV and SteedArena.com. Back with more. First intermission, Zamboni cruising around the ice here in Helena, Montana.
At Builders First Source, we're harnessing the power of innovation to transform the future of home building. With 14 facilities across Montana, Builders First Source is your one-stop shop for building materials. From lumber and windows to trusses and siding, whether you're building single-family homes or multifamily units, we've got you covered. Visit BLDR.com to learn more. Builders First Source, building Montana's future, one home at a time.
What are you drinking?
I think I'll have a 56.
56 Counties American Light Lager, a beer for Montanans and friends of Montanans.
Access to Montana's great backyard is the best part of being a Grizzly. At the University of Montana, our classrooms are the mountain peaks, river valleys, and never-ending plains of the Big Sky Country. We provide students with the hands-on training to protect and enjoy hunting, conservation, and stewardship. UM launches the careers of outdoor leaders so that they can protect our traditions and ensure they are passed down for future generations. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
Right now at Les Schwab, it's the deal you've been waiting for. The Score More sales event. Save up to $160 instantly on a wide selection of 4 tires and 4 wheels. Plus, every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. Because nobody stands by their tires like we do. It's a better deal on better tires with the best service in the business. Get more from Les.
Back here in Steed Arena in Helena. First period, a little feisty on both sides. Some physical hits, plenty of penalties. Bobcats were able to stand up to the bulk of it, as after our first period saw the dust settle, MSU with a distinct advantage, leading the Argos 3-0. And mention how the Bobcats had the distinct advantage in the last games they played back in the month of January. That trend has continued. Was MSU in a weekend series against Providence just almost exactly a month ago now, where they outscored in 2 games combined these Argos 13-0. 13-1, beg your pardon. So now continuing that into the third game here in this Montana Cup, now 16-1 in the last 7 periods played between these two teams. Clearly seeing Dave Weaver's side find a blueprint to get by these Providence Argos. Did see some fun stuff before the game, a lot of mutual respect between these teams. Obviously played physical here, seeing a lot of guys visit with one another before the puck drop. Mentioned how a lot of veterans are on both sides of the equation here with these two programs. Obviously have seen one another. Even saw something I thought that was fun that crossed over from a different sport. A lot of times think about this in the game of baseball, but at the end of warm-ups, noticed it was Jamal Shaw and Sam Duhlmeyer and Vinny Farina and I believe Tyler Fisher, fenceman for the Bobcats. They are standing by their respective doors to go back to the locker room. And was watching them, and they just were not leaving the ice. And I'm watching, and I'm thinking, what the heck's going on over there? And I thought, no, is this? Yes, it is. It's a good old-fashioned standoff, just like what you see on a baseball timing. It's like, this is awesome. Obviously just having a little bit of fun before the Montana Cup. Really fun to see guys kind of having a little yuck before they get locked into the action here. That's the first time I had seen that this year. A good old-fashioned standoff. Who can be the first, or I should say the last team to officially fully go off the ice? So I guess in this battle before for the Montana Cup, they had a little old-fashioned standoff as a little precursor. You didn't see it here on the app, but here you go. Safford telling you about it. Bobcats brought a little pomp and circumstance with them from Bozeman. Here comes their ice dance team onto the ice. 8 skaters out there. So a contingent of Bozeman folks, entertaining the crowd here in Helena for the Montana Cup. Bringing a little fun to this environment. Cool stuff here. Great way to kind of bring this intermission to a close as well. And I've been going to Bozeman for games featuring Montana and Montana State the last few years. I've seen this ice dance crew grow in terms of numbers over the last couple of years. So cool to see that growth from the MSU side of things as well. Grizz hockey has had ice dancers in years past as well. Thinking about it, and it's cool to see a little bit of fun entertainment here at State Arena. There you go, cool stuff. The Montana State Ice Dance team entertaining folks here at the 2025 Montana Cup. And right on cue, now we'll see the Bobcats and Argos head back towards the benches to get period number 2 back rocking and rolling. Or just getting it rocking and roller proper, word that better. Remember, mentioned a few times a little feistiness from both benches, that we will see penalties on both sides leak out into the second period as well. With 1:48 left in penalty time for both the Bobcats and Argos in this second period. Mentioned maybe a lot of dual screen watching in the hockey world. Four Nations face-off. Looks like they're in the midst of the second period over in Montreal. 1-1, USA versus Canada. USA had the lead in the first period, but Connor McDavid out of Edmonton, or at least professionally with the Edmonton Oilers, obviously Canadian as well. Connor McDavid, one of the stars of the NHL, tying things in the first period at the 5:31 remaining mark. In that opening period, there 7:31 looks like left in the second now. Still 1-1 between Team USA and Canada. Here, the Bobcats, that distinct advantage over the Argos 3-0. Let's see what type of adjustments Providence makes here in period number 2. The main thing I would be looking for would be try to get your go-to guys going offensively. Colby Frederick and Adam Husley. get them both in the open ice with speed. In terms of speed, attacking the net, those two guys are two of the best in the conference. Just pure speed, being able to blow by people. Argos are a bit shorthanded tonight. Have not seen A.J. Bellinger, typically one of their best scorers as well. Not available for tonight's contest. Also missing Chavez Constant, one of their top defensemen for the Argos. Adam Husley sends it Friedrich's way with now just over a minute of penalty time with the puck in the neutral zone in the second period. Caleb Bronell, neutral ice, sends it near dasher. Dawson Speth shoots! Chance goes to the right of the cage. Speth had 2 goals in the first period. Maybe already thinking about seeing some hats flying onto the ice. 18:55. Sets it up. Speth shoots off the blade of Frederick. Near corner, fished out by West. West able to find Jamal Kaloff, dumps it into the zone, and comes off the ice. Owen Davis finds the puck. Attacking zone, Speth. Cerebral attack. Shoots, a partial glove stop. Rebound leaks out to the stick of Jamal Shaw. Shaw, 90 seconds gone, comes into the attacking zone with Daniel Tinton. Big hit, taking it was Wes Ennis. Slides to the far post, gloving it there was the captain Johnson. Six seconds left in the box on both sides of the equation for Providence and Montana State. Nicholas Demchuk for the Argos and Denham Young will be out of the box here in the next 3, 2, and 1. Full strength on both sides with 8:10 to go. 18:10 to go, beg your pardon. Caden Bolter towards Sam Duhlmeyer. Duhlmeyer slides it near post. Shaw meets it there. Shaw in the defensive zone looking for some space to work it down towards the neutral zone. Off the dasher and neutral ice, settled down by the Argos. Caden Bolter takes a shot, ends up going behind the net now on the far boards near the bench of the Argos. Slapping at it, Shaw, knuckleballing puck, ends up first on the stick of Johnson, pushes Davis now with Ennis. Ennis tries to slide it back behind the cage, comes up the wall, does Davis on the puck. Luplo tries to knock it off the puck, knock him off, but doesn't able to. Here comes the centering feed. Sutton a good chance, couldn't get the shot off. Just below his stick on the pass, right through the middle. Past the bench, it goes out of play over the top of the Argos bench with 17:14 left in period number 2. Face-off will be right at center ice. Luplo and Sutton. Stanislav Struthers finds it, sends it into the zone. No icing here, past the red line. Young met it behind. Young still struggling with it. Eventually leaks out to the far post. Johnson meets it with a glove. Stopping play once more. This little chance to rock with Brett Michaels here. Face off in the far circle. Shot ends up going right into the chest of Johnson. More Poison. Brett Michaels, the lead singer of this band, Poison. Face off ends up going towards the neutral zone, breaking out Sutton. Little 2-on-1, one-time shot and making a great save. Coming across the blue paint was Fines. From the far post, sliding across on the near side was Fines. That was a fabulous stop. Stephen Eyring had a great shot there in the slot from the near circle, just about right in the edge of the slot. Looks like it was going to be a relatively easy put away to make it 4-0, but Fines a big save there to keep Providence breathing in this one. 16:45. Can Kaloff use that as some momentum? Here come the Argos into the attacking zone. to the right of the net. Husley sees it pushed up the wall a bit, cycles it back towards Vick. Vick slammed to the ice by Davis. Loose puck in the far circle, trading possessions, eventually working his way out of there. Mundell takes a hit, loose puck, Jurgensen, a shot from Parrott, ends up on the near boards. Hand is up here, 16-15, play has been stopped. What do we got? Looks like another Argo penalty. Caleb West doesn't like the call, shaking his head. He has been called for a blow to the head with 16-15. Man advantage here for the Cats. Nearly 4 minutes into our second period. Scored on the power play thanks to Clem and Dawson Speck. Ennis. Mundell. Clem. Far circle. Speck. Far post. Tried to feed it towards the stick of Farina. Passed him and cleared down. Johnson meets it. Bodies flying behind the cage. Husley sets up Frederick shorthanded. Saved by Johnson. Frederick almost a big moment there. Trying to get the Argos on the scoreboard on the feed from Husley. Two guys very familiar with one another, playing hockey around each other, going back quite some time. Showed there. Hayden Clem tried to feed it on the doorstep towards Farina, ending up with the puck. Speck back with Clem. Clem back to Speck. Speck shoots, and making a stop is Chris Fines. Guess you could stay. Trying to be a Stonewall is the Manitoba native. That's the name of his hometown. Seems like a fitting name for a goalie, you would think. 15:22 is remaining in our period number 2. Ben Sutton to Mundell. Near post, Serpeski's shot goes to the left. Up the wall it comes to Brownell. Caleb Brownell slides across the way. Back to Brownell from Sutton. Near circle. One-timer is partially deflected off the stick of Serpeski. Over the net. 5 minutes in to our period. 45 seconds left for West in the sin bin. 3-0 Bobcats looking to add to it on the power play. Isaac Ellingson trying to get leverage, sees the puck knocked against the near boards at the half wall. Able to poke it to Eyrich. Eyrich shoots up high. Over the net to the left a bit. Sutton gets to it. Serpeski to the point. She goes. Brownell. Caleb Brownell. Head fake pass. Sutton. Far post Serpeski. Lost it. Brownell holds the zone. Brownell. Goal line. Near side. Eyrich sees it knocked to the left of the cage. 15 seconds left with a man advantage. Sutton can't get to that one. Couldn't quite trap it up against the boards. Far blue line. 6 seconds. Argos about ready to be back to full strength. Frederick partially jostled the puck loose. Fines behind the cage, meets it. UP does kill off that penalty. Ben Sutton, backhanded pass, ends up going to the right of the net. Sent towards the skates of McAvoy. Keeps it alive. Comes back to the near side now. Struthers meets it there in the corner. Larice in his hip pocket. Will try far post now. Bringing it back to the near side. Struggling to get it out. Finally, getting it out of harm's way was Demchuk. Down the far dasher, meeting it first. Tegan McAvoy. McAvoy slides backhanded past the Argos bench. Stretch pass intercepted for Vinny Felt. Comes down the far dasher, and that will stop play to bring it back into the attacking zone of UP for icing. 13:34 in our second stanza. Leading it by 3 are the Bobcats. And indeed, what a night it is here at Steed Arena. It's not late December back in '63 though. Down the far dasher comes Vinny Felt, taking a hit from Jamal Shaw. Shaw backhands it, getting it into neutral ice. McAvoy waiting for it. Near side back into the zone behind, past the stick of Fines. Vinny Felt gets to it. Feltz. Had it poked out of the zone by Vanini. Elliot Vanini back with it, Feltz. Sending it high towards the bench of the Cats. Parent couldn't get to it. Jurgensen does, cycling it back behind. Goes all the way up the boards, far side, meeting it Parent. Parent cycles it right back low. Near circle shot. Parent had it knocked down. Goes to the defensive Davis. Davis sees it slide to McAvoy. McAvoy's shot ends up bouncing off the skate of Vanini and out of the zone. Whistle stopping play. High stick has been called with 12:39 in the period. Offensive zone draw for Luplo. Won by Ennis and the Bobcats. Neutral ice with Parents. Running with Jackson Mundell. Behind the net now. Bodies meet the puck there. Luke Jurgensen amongst others. And a scrum for it. Comes out of the dust and now back into the neutral zone. Bobcats meet it there near the blue line. Putting on the brakes, Ennis. Pass to stick down the far dasher, icing. Jackson Mundell, the closest man to it, going by him, a bit behind him on the pass. The 12:09 left in period number 2. So far, the key to this contest, back-to-back goals in a quick sequence halfway through the last. Blocking that shot initially from West was Mundell, nicely done. And out of the zone she comes. Jake Parent sends it back into the Argos zone. Meeting it though near circle was Robinson. Luplo trying to settle it down, going towards the attacking zone. Instead loose by the Argos bench. Retreating now, the Cats playing it to Davis. Davis now will attack the zone. Davis, poke checked off the puck by West. Still alive though, far post, Farina working hard, hits the deck. Loose on the near post, taken by Speth. Near circle to Fisher. Across the way to Davis. Davis into traffic, had it knocked down near the blue line. Roof ruckus number 2 off the stick of Luplo. A little bit of jawing back and forth after the stoppage of play. Maybe both sides are thinking a little anger that one another may have another thing coming if things don't start changing. Judas Priest reference there. Why not? I've been playing on the loudspeaker. Speth shoots. Rebound, Farina goes to the right of the cage. Vinny Farina ends up with it. Slides to the point. Fisher, his shot from near the blue line, gloving it to the right of the cage, finds. 11:01. First I thought, when that Judas Priest classic came on, that it was a different 1980s classic from Billy Idol. If you're a Bobcat fan, you know exactly what song I'm talking about. 11:01, period number 2. I still can't believe it was played at the Glacier Ice Rink last week. Money, my goodness, that was wild. Backhanded out by Ozika. It's a classic in Bozeman. You hear it about 100 times whenever you're in their barn, really at any Bobcat sporting event. Ben Sutton putting on the brakes. Ronell thought about it. Instead just holds possession. Fires, look out, mezzanine. His shot goes way up high over the glass towards the protective netting. Folks in that mezzanine area, similar to what you see in the Glacier Ice Rink directly behind one of the cages. Seen a bar area set up there, kind of a VIP spot. This is almost like 3D. Folks, look out! It's one of those human instincts takes over, even though you know that protective netting is there. You see a lot of folks ducking down for cover. Be an interesting social experiment. See, in an instance like that, who goes Stone Cold Steve Austin and just looks at it, you know, blank-eyed, I'm the tough guy. As Husley enters the zone, a pad save made. Rebound loose, taken out by the Cats. Denham Young backhanding it towards Sutton. And who would go ducking down? Would be an interesting one to see. I would surely be the latter. I'd be getting the heck out of Dodge, even with that protective netting. Shooting on far circle. High to the left of the net. Argos keeping it alive with Husley. Slides off his stick towards Vic, chopping it out of the zone. Larice. Ben Sutton, attacking zone shot, knocked down by Shaw. Now a war for it, up against the boards. Four bodies chopping away at it. Finally comes out. Odd man rush here, potentially. 2-on-1 feed. Ends up going on the far post. Rebound. There's a goal for Providence. Finding it was Adam Husley. That felt like something the Providence Argos desperately needed. Rushed into the zone on a 2-on-1 odd man rush. Demchuk had the first chance. Rebound leaked out a bit on the near side. Husley, the team leader in points, well over 40 this season. Actually broke the 50-point threshold this year with 51. 9:32, the leading scorer, mentioned it in the midst of the waning seconds of our intermission. Argos would look to get some of their go-to guys offensively going, try to get back into the game. That's one step in the right direction from the folks from the Electric City. Now Frederick looks for more. Feeds Demchuk. A lunging save made on the near post by Johnson. Stopping play there with 9:13. Great save there from Jurgen Johnson with the glove, stopping it from being a one-goal game. Demchuk and the captain, Frederick, setting up that chance. Providence, a little juice here in period number 2. Media timeout number 2. This is the 2025 Montana Cup Final.
What are you drinking?
I think I'll have a 56.
56 Counties American Light Lager. A beer for Montanans and friends of Montanans.
Right now.
At Builders First Source, we're harnessing the power of innovation to transform the future of home building. With 14 facilities across Montana, Builders First Source is your one-stop shop for building materials. From lumber and windows to trusses and siding, whether you're building single-family homes or multi-family units, we've got you covered. Visit BLDR.com to learn more. Builders First Source, building Montana's future, one home at a time.
Halfway through our hockey game, the folks from Great Falls have life thanks to their leading scorer from this season, Adam Husley. Finding the back of the net for the first time are the Argos, breaking the run of 3 in a row from the Cats from period number 1. And now trail by 2. Score now is 3-1. With the puck in the offensive zone of UP with 8:57 remaining in the second period. Heard 80s earlier, now I guess shifting to the 90s. A little music for Frederick and Clem. Face off towards Speck. Looks up, past the skate of Farina. This will be, no, not icing here, waved off. West plays it out of the zone. Fisher sends it back in. Knocked down by Clem in the offensive zone, trying to keep it there. Takes it away from Janssens. This way to Bronell. Caleb Bronell off the skate of West. Farina sends it towards the near post, meaning it finds. Lunging out of the blue paint just a bit to snag that one. .823, period number 2. Action heating up just a bit here inside Steed Arena. Pretty chilly outside. getting down below zero, it sounds like tonight. Thought about it with these teams rolling in with the Charters today. A lot of times you see it around the sport of hockey as Ennis slides Davis. He sends it into traffic, knocked down by Robinson and Luplo. Not out though, as Vinny Felt keeps it alive. Near circle, Felt's tried to center it to Sutton. Taken away by Janssens partially with a stick getting in the way. Back behind the net in the near corner, trying to get it out of the zone. Eventually comes out towards neutral ice. It was actually Zach Fulton that got in the way of that previous pass. Going behind him now, Fulton after it. Fulton, the big D, looks up, sends it into neutral ice. Trying to regain possession, Argos will chop it in with Jonathan O'Brien. Meeting it on the near post, goes by Struthers. Far blue line, still in the attacking zone, trickling towards the middle of the slot. Sutton will take it out of harm's way. Play and catch through the neutral zone with Irick. He shoots, does Sutton as he enters the zone. Gloving it, Chris Fines. But again, with the chilly conditions, you wouldn't know it getting to the rink today. It's around 10, 12 degrees, I said. A lot of ties to Canada. On Providence roster, 16 players from different provinces of Canada. Folks, of course, going to college here in the Treasure State as well. Gets plenty cold. That's how you know it's a Montana hockey team. And they're out playing with a soccer ball outside in 10-degree weather. 7:01 with Jurgen Johnson gloving it down on the near post. And that's a trend I've seen a lot, part of the pregame ritual with hockey teams around the Western region and Mountain West Collegiate Hockey League. Seen a lot of, what the heck is that on the ice? Oh, it looks like it's a mouth guard coming now towards the Argos bench. So you saw this blue adamant object just sliding around. I was like, what in the world's going on out there? Looks like a mouth guard. 7 minutes to go. Near circle, Bolter. Lost it to the right of the cage. Now coming far wall. Larice chops away at it. Holds it in. Does Ozika. Off the stick of Johnson behind. Cycled around the wall, out of the zone. Duhlmeyer right around the red line. Thinks about coming back towards Johnson. Instead, they retreat a bit to the Argos towards Ozika. Bolter sends it in the zone, but right to McAvoy. Backhanded right back where it came from. Ozika and Duhlmeyer will play catch now near Fines. Ozika, backhanded, knocked down by Larice. Larice gets by him, looks up, will he feed? No, he'll shoot it on the far post. Rebound ends up on the near side, now coming back to the corner. Sent to the point, McAvoy fires it off the stick of Parent. Fines is able to hold on to that redirect. Only goal in this second period, thanks to assistant captain Adam Husley out of Saskatchewan. Feed, backhanded shot goes high. Feed from Fisher towards the stick of Jake Parent, who scored on an odd man rush top shelf in that second period, making it 2-0 Bobcats. Now 5 bodies over there, trying to jostle the puck loose from the boards. Eventually, getting a shot off was Parent from a tough angle. But tough to handle a shot like that, just came out of a scrum so quickly. Coming back towards the net of the Cats now. Another war behind. Husley gets it to the point. West tees it up, and it is blocked down on the near post. Relieved by a Bobcat. Don't think it was Johnson that got in the way. Here comes Jurgensen. His shot deflected out of play. 11 goals for Luke Jurgensen in the regular season. Nearly 20 points for the senior. Trying to make something happen there. With 5:15 in period number 2. Seen this be a lot less, or a lot more of a clean period as well in terms of penalties. It was contagious. A drive by Bronell. Handling an in-between hop, it looked like, was Fines. I believe that puck hit the blue paint in front of him before it went into the glove. Short hop and snagged it. No Olay there with 5:08. Heard that one a few times last night too, hearing Luke Holmes on the loudspeakers. Here's Speck. Already he's got two. Wrapping it around up to the far point. Fisher sends it low. Got it all the way to the doorstep. Stopping it with the glove was Chris Fines. Quick reflexes for Fines there on the bottom right-hand post. A lot of times you think defenseman in that spot more sending it into traffic, but that shot from Fisher got all the way through a couple of bodies. Speck shoots. Rebound behind the cage. Clem spinning around, gets it back to Speck. Now Brodell past his stick though. Down the near dasher back to Johnson. Johnson will slide it towards Fisher. Trying to find another avenue down the ice. Instead, Frederick takes it and neutralizes. Gloving it down. Trying to regather Speck. Battling with Frederick. Frederick puts his head down, couldn't get to the puck. Hayden Clem. Clem couldn't get through Shaw. Shaw backhands it out of the zone. Here comes Vanini the other way. Vanini pass near Frederick. Frederick able to get something on it towards the glove of Johnson. Speaking of in-between hops, he got to that one, kind of a funky hop to the right of the cage. With now 4:06 left in this battle for the 4:06. The first ever Montana Cup on the line with the Bozeman, folks from Bozeman leading things here over the Argos. Wes Ennis racing after the puck, finds Vinny Phelps, trying to keep it alive with the Argos. Davis, stretch pass into the neutral zone, here comes Sutton. Then Sutton puts on the brakes, spins around, cycles it. Davis fans a pass, gets it back to the left of the net though. Ruplo lies a body, comes loose into the middle. Shaw and Robinson get something on it to send it down the near boards. Icing waved off as Ennis will meet it to the right of the net. Ennis, Vinny Phelps, backhanded towards Sutton. Ben Sutton, pass with Ennis now. Ennis, the defenseman, shoots partially out of the glove, still alive from Fines. Phelps puts on the brakes, going by the stick of Irick. Near dasher now, met initially by Sutton, the right to an Argo, as Duhlmeyer takes it away. Sam Duhlmeyer to the right of the net. Snow shower trying to regain possession to the right of the cage. Davis takes that away. Pass though misses the stick of Serpeski, allowing the Argos to get it back into the zone. Now McAvoy. Hayden Bolter runs into pass on the half wall. Fired diagonally into the near corner. Glasgow runs into it along with Demchuk. Far dasher, neutralized Serpeski. Good feed. Duke Serpeski near circle. Duke Serpeski stops in the corner. Two Argos right in his hip pocket. As we near the 2.5-minute mark remaining in our second period. Another war for possession here. He's putting those shoulder down, looking for leverage. Near dasher, a race for it, hitting the deck. Bolter, delayed penalty for just a moment. That will be interference called against the Bobcats with 2:18 to go. Going to the box looks to be Larice, shaking his head. 2 minutes for interference. And here you go if you're Providence. This feels like a big spot for them. Right at the end of the period, vast bulk of what is left will be with a man advantage. If things stand up the way it stands now, no penalty committed by the Argos. This is your chance to give yourself a jolt going into the final period if you can cut it back down to one like a country song. Clearing it down, the far dasher to start off the man advantage, though, are the Cats. Here comes the C, Frederick. Retreating a bit. Finds Bolter. Kind of knocked back towards the zone by Jurgensen and Parent. Bolter trying to regather right down below us at the scorer's table. Husley couldn't find an avenue towards the defensive zone either. Cats clear it down again. Frederick looks up, keeps it on the far side. Huxley gets around one man. Huxley attacking zone, feeds Jamal Kalov. Kalov cycles it down behind. Bronell trying to fish it out, cannot. Argo still on the puck with Jansen. Jansen centers, Frederick shoots, and ends up in the glove of Johnson. That was interesting there. Johnson sprawling out for that one on the bottom left-hand post. Had 3 or 4 bodies in front of him, but was able to track the puck and see it at the last second to snag it. Just over a minute 15 left. Off the draw, Fisher gets it out of the zone. Bringing it back in is Shaw. Near post, Tainton gets it back towards Shaw, but knocked out of the zone by Clem. Shaw across the way. Demchuk will now have to try to resettle it down in the defensive zone. Pass to Shaw. Shaw behind Demchuk on the feed. Vic in the area as well, but cleared down again. 30 seconds left for Larice in the box. 45 ticks remaining in the period. Argos still trailing by 2. Pass way out ahead of Nicholas Demchuk coming down the near dasher, and that will be icing call against the Argos. Bit of an unforced error in that instance to see the pass leak out too far. That gives the Bobcats an opportunity to have an offensive zone face-off. Down a man. West trying to fish it out of the far corner. Maybe one more push towards the net with a man advantage. Another pass behind a man in neutral ice, allowing the Cats to dump it in to the right of Jarvis. Larice coming back out. Bobcats full strength. Ticking down the final 15 seconds of the period. West battling for it, neutral ice. Serpeski had it poked towards the scorer's table. Bouncing puck sent towards Johnson. Meeting it is Bobcats with 3, with 2, neutral ice with 1. That is it for period number 2. Bobcats offense quieted down in the second. Nothing on the scoreboard. Adam Huxley, a notch in the right direction for the Argos, cuts the deficit to 2, and that's how things end here. 2/3 of the way home here in Helena, Montana. Not too far off the Interstate 15 at State Arena. Glad to have you here in the capital city of Helena for this first ever 2025 inaugural Montana Cup. Will the Argos find something in their locker room, try to push back into it? Thinking about what Providence did yesterday against Montana, where they were able to turn a 1-1 game in the third period that started into a 3-1 lead. 2 quick goals in the first 3-4 minutes of the third period ended up being enough to get by the Grizz. That could surely be something that the Argos are talking about trying to replicate here in this one. They can find a quick boom pow counter, start this period, get something turned around in their favor. Who knows what we'll see for our third and final period. Seeing also here 2 skaters on both sides of the equation, one being Hayden Clem for the Bobcats, Caleb West the other for Providence, talking with the officials. For what reason, I don't know. So we'll have to keep an eye on if we see any penalty time or anything put on the big board in the midst of this intermission. Don't see anything indicating that at this point. So not sure what the circumstance might be, why the officials would be, or the players having conversations with the officials. But either way, both teams now headed to the locker room as we are about to get that 15-minute intermission. Clock rocking and rolling here at Steed Arena. One last period of regulation here in this 2025 Montana Cup. Four Nations face-off. It's moved to the third period. Team USA grabs another goal. They lead Canada now 2-1. So I guess you could just call it a night for hockey. And really, I think, just from a casual sport fan perspective, you got to think that that's a sweet deal for the game of hockey, seeing best on best, showcasing the best talent in a 4-team tournament as opposed to the All-Star game. That's what this Four Nations face-off has taken the spot of, so to speak. See good competitive hockey. Saw mentioned a couple overtime games. Fans clearly having fun, dressed up in some funny costumes. I saw a couple of Swedish fans in the Sweden-Finland game earlier. Looks like they were wearing these big, giant Viking-type outfits, just having some fun playing into their culture. So fun stuff over there in Montreal. I'm sure maybe a few servings of poutine getting served over there. You never know. That's one thing that's poutine that I haven't really had much of. You know, I'm an American myself, so what the heck do I... Obviously, I know what it is. Tasty brown gravy with the cheese curds and the French fries. I would think... I'm a big foodie. I would think the big keys with poutine, I would think the biggest kind of low-key big aspect to a good poutine would be the fries. They have to execute the fries perfectly. I would think a fresh cut fry, cooked the right way, keeping it crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, yep. And a really good gravy, maybe a little demi-glace involved, and some really good cheese. Just that combination, whoa, now I'm hungry up here. And who knows, maybe some folks around watching this one in the midst of this second intermission are getting hungry too, and they're going running for some snacks. Helena has been a good town in terms of food so far. A lot of times traveling on the road, whether it be lacrosse, hockey, minor league.
At Builders First Source, we're harnessing the power of innovation to transform the future of home building. With 14 facilities across Montana, Builders First Source is your one-stop shop for building materials. From lumber and windows to trusses and siding. Whether you're building single-family homes or multifamily units, we've got you covered. Visit BLDR.com to learn more. Builders First Source, building Montana's future, one home at a time.
Call it eclectic kind of cafe. A lot of different funky items on the menu, a little bit of an Asian flair. That place was great. Just a couple of experiences on the road here in Helena, Montana. Should be a fun third period as well, as the Argos and the Bobcats find themselves in a 2-goal separation. Argos, thanks to their leading scorer, Adam Husley, get themselves some mo going into the final period, and now will look to climb out of the hole they left for themselves. Largest deficit in the game at 3-0. 3 goals in the first period. But give Providence credit. I mentioned it. Remember, with score being 3-0 and the Bobcats going on a power play after a quick couple goals, they made it a 3-0 deficit. Mentioned it, hey, Argos have to look out here, thinking about what this Bobcat offense can do, scoring goals in bunches. Give them credit in this regard. They were able to stop the bleeding right there, because I feel like if the Bobcats were able to keep the momentum going with that run offensively in the first, that they could have made this thing be an insurmountable task coming down the stretch of the final 2 periods. But the Argos held their ground. They were able to make things interesting going into our third period, and now we'll see if the Argos can really get things heated up a notch or two here at Steed Arena in Helena. The 2025 Montana Cup will crown a champion in the Treasure State for the first time. Back after this from Steed Arena.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
At Builder's First Source, we're harnessing the power of innovation to transform the future of home building. With 14 facilities across Montana, Builder's First Source is your one-stop shop for building materials. From lumber and windows to trusses and siding, whether you're building single-family homes or multifamily units, we've got you covered. Visit BLDR.com to learn more. Builder's First Source, building Montana's future, one home at a time.
Just a few little strips of ice to clean up for the Zamboni cruising around the ice here on a Saturday evening in Helena. 3-1 advantage for the Montana State Bobcats over the University of Providence Argos. His first ever 2025 Montana Cup final. Mentioned saw that brand new shiny silver trophy. Looks a little bit like the trophy that the conference champ took home last week. A little bit more, I'd say. Looks a little taller to me, and this trophy was also at a little bit more weight to it, I felt, compared to the Mountain West Collegiate Hockey League trophy. And that was seen, I remember at one point, after Utah beat the Bobcats last weekend. What a heck of a game that was last Saturday in Missoula. 1-0 win for the Utes. But when the trophy was initially getting hoisted up, but a few of the Utes were a bit surprised. They're clearly expecting a little bit more muscle to be needed to lift it up, and they lifted the thing up, and it went up, and it almost came out of, I believe it was Connor Beer's hand, one of their leading scorers for the Utes. Almost went right down to the ice. That would have been a no-no. 5:40 left in our intermission, but trophy's okay, all good, and wouldn't be the first time a little mishap happened with a trophy. 3-1 advantage for Montana State, but Providence defensively were able to hold things off. I felt Chris Fines had a nice second period also, making a number of big stops for the Argos. Same can be said for Jurgen Johnson. Man, has he been quite man in net the last few years for the Bobcats. Clearly will be missed in that program in Bozeman. That number 54 hanging in the rafters now in Bobcat lore. 3 numbers now have been retired in the history of the Montana State Bobcat program. Johnson very deserving of what he's done the last few seasons, and frankly, really looking at the statistics he was able to put up, leading the country in wins, the only goalie in the ACHA Division II in the country with 20-plus wins. Just simply outstanding what he was able to do. And it was cool to hear about some of the stories he had coming to the area of Bozeman also. Interesting how life can throw things at you that way. Where Johnson was playing in NCAA hockey around the pandemic era, had a season called off due to COVID. He was looking for somewhere to go. Had a teammate we saw last year finish out his career with the Bobcats, Cade Street, a big, giant defenseman for the Bobcats. Eventually, he made it to Bozeman first. He called up his buddy Jurgen from his college days out in New York and said, "Hey, heard they need a goalie over here at the Bobcats." And as he worded it with me, he didn't think twice. He packed up his gear, he got in his car from New York, and drove across the country to Bozeman, Montana. And talking with guys at numerous programs, it's been interesting seeing how the ACHA has brought some guys back to the game of hockey in really cool ways. Seeing a few Grizz players have stories like that as well, where they were in midst portions of life where they had played hockey in the past, whether it be at junior level, high school, what have you, and they're thinking that their hockey career was over, but certain instances brought them back to the ice, back to their love of the game of hockey. And how cool is it that they're able to find some homes playing very high-level hockey here in the Treasure State of Montana. And now, one last show for these folks, featuring the University of Providence and Montana State. Neutral site here at Steed Arena in Helena. When we come on back, we'll have teams headed out for our third period here on the ESPN MT app, GrizzHockey.com, and Steed TV.
We're anglers, endlessly seeking and refining techniques. We're hunters and storytellers, because we've been out there. We're experts that put products and gear to the test, so we can share that knowledge with you. At Shields, we understand your outdoor journey and the path you're on, because we walk it too, every step of the way. Shields, right there with you.
What are you drinking?
I think I'll have a 56.
56 Counties American Light Lager, a beer for Montanans and friends of Montanans.
Access to Montana's great backyard is the best part of being a Grizzly. At the University of Montana, our classrooms are the mountain peaks, river valleys, and never-ending plains of the Big Sky Country. We provide students with the hands-on training to protect and enjoy hunting, conservation, and stewardship. UM launches the careers of outdoor leaders so that they can protect our traditions and ensure they are passed down for future generations. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
At Builders First Source, we're harnessing the power of innovation to transform the future of home building. With 14 facilities across Montana, Builders First Source is your one-stop shop for building materials. From lumber and windows to trusses and siding, whether you're building single-family homes or multi-family units, we've got you covered. Visit BLDR.com to learn more. Builders First Source, building Montana's future, one home at a time.
Right now at Les Schwab, it's the deal you've been waiting for. The Score More sales event. Save up to $160 instantly on a wide selection of 4 tires and 4 wheels. Plus, every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. Because nobody stands by their tires like we do. It's a better deal on better tires with the best service in the business. Get more from Les.
Just moments into our third period here, didn't miss anything. Score still 3-1 with the puck near Chris Fines. Now in net to our right. It's our final stanza. Regulation off and rolling here at the 2025 Montana Cup. We'll see a play stop here. Icing called against the Argos. Isaac Ellingson on the draw for the Bobcats. It's slammed towards the blue line by Shaw, not out, keeping it in initially Davis. And it's just out of the offensive zone, sends it back in. Serpeski racing towards the blue line, looks like he didn't win that race, trying to get back out of the zone. Puck leaking out to neutral ice, sent back in by Ennis. So offsides called against the Cats. We'll see a neutral zone face-off here, far red out rather. Won by Providence. Sent towards West. The other 5 meets it near the blue line. Davis able to slide it towards Release. Larice will be backhanded by Janssens into the attacking zone. But meeting it near side Davis. Bouncing it towards the bench. Keeping it alive initially Vanini. Ellingson comes from behind, takes it away from him. As Davis will now send it to Larice, but holding it is West. Slow roller, ends up coming toward the far side, pushed there by Ennis. Now Serpeski. Serpeski attacking. Far circle shot is knocked up high by Fines. Off the skate of Frederick down the far dasher. Trying to get it out of the zone. Demchuk sends it into the middle towards West. West gets around Ira into the attacking zone. Caleb West can't dance around McAvoy, so it comes loose behind the cage. Now far post. Still alive with it. Vanini briefly taken away by McAvoy. Ben Sutton wins the puck to the left of the net. Now Ben Sutton looking to get through traffic. Glasgow keeps it alive briefly. Irick, Sutton ends up back with it. Coming towards the defense. Goes out wide. Tried to feed it back in the far post. Still in the corner. Striding it, Denham Young to the half wall. Bodies converge there. Left of the net, backhanded shot from Sutton. Goes to the right of the cage and out of the zone entirely. Frederick trying to attack. Frederick near circle shot is knocked up off the blocker of Johnson. It behind the net it goes. 2.5 minutes gone, third period. Captain Hobie Frederick, more than capable. 48 points for him in the regular year. And a goal last night. Bringing it up the boards towards Struthers. Lost it to Jurgensen, now Mundell. In the race for it, ends up with Struthers out of Southern California, putting on the brakes. Coming this way now to Zach Fulton. Fulton, the defenseman, sends it back down towards Johnson. Waiting for it with a stick, he'll push it towards Fisher. Fisher, high into neutral ice. Struthers racing after it, along with Luke Jurgensen. Struthers cycles back behind his own net towards Fulton. Fulton hits the deck, getting in the way. Jake Parent, another big hit. Speck finds it, shot off the far post. Just glancing off the post, more towards the siding of the cage, away from danger. Speck, near post now, shot. Lunging, stop from Fines. In the far corner. What a stop that was. Trying to go top left corner. Chris Fines with a robbery there with 16:30. My word, was that a great save. Glasgow the other way. Poked away. Bolter from behind. He scores. Glasgow found him. And the Argos are in it. Down to 1. Indeed, like a country song. It's 3-2. Caden Bolter, former St. Paul Canadian out of Calgary. He's had a good first season in the program, and he makes it a 1-goal game in this third period. Will this venue prove to be a wacky one for these two teams again? As Davis fires it back into the zone. meeting it Dullmeyer. He's got some momentum. Dullmeyer down the far dasher to the left of the net, meeting it behind Davis. Slid it Speth's way. Intercepting off the stick of Robinson does Clem. Knocking it back down, keeping it alive Robinson. Shot knocked behind the net. Backhanded, Luplo able to get it towards Dullmeyer. His shot knocked down. Luplo, the big fella, now battling with Ennis. Ennis gets it to the half wall near side Speth. Sliding into neutral ice, Davis. Owen Davis into the attacking zone. Davis, the defenseman, brings it behind. Thought he would take a shot there, did not. To the right of the net, Dullmeyer trying to get it out. Kicking it around, Clem from Larry shoots, and it goes in! Out of the glove of Fines. Hayden Clem. Assist earlier, and now a goal from near the blue line. A golden moment out of Golden, Colorado. Hayden Clem gets the lead back up to 2. Came out of the leather of Fines and trickled to the bottom right-hand corner. 15-24, third period. A push from Bolter, a response from Clem, the assistant captain, and conference leader in scoring. One of the top scorers nationwide in the ACHA. Behind the net, still in the defensive zone, West and the Argos absorbed that body blow after delivering one themselves. Janssens backhands it towards Kaloff. Husley looking for it. Gets it down the dasher towards Vick. Here comes the Norway native. His shot off to the right of Johnson. Serpeski sees it kicked around by Husley at the blue line. Cats trying to get on a loose puck. Serpeski finds it. Played by Davis in a neutral ice towards Ellingson. Now played across the way, Larice, he retreats as the Cats will make a change. Wholesale change happening there. Husley down, Demchuk attacking zone, shot off to the right. Coming now near the bench of the Bobcats. Vanini looking to keep it alive. Battling for it along with Fisher. Ends up with Struther's shot directed over the top of the cage, but not out of play. Bronell off the skate of Sutton. Loose in the middle. Frederick shot off to the right. Rebound off the right side of the cage. Vanini now near side with it. To Struthers. Looks now to the opposite blue line. Back into the middle. Vanini winds it up. His shot is stopped with the pad of Johnson. High intensity action here in the third so far. Sent from the far dasher off the pad of Johnson. Bottom left corner. Struthers having a good shift here. Finds Demchuk. Gets it back to Struthers. Comes across the way. Tees it up. Shot in front. Taken out of harm's way by Ben Sutton. Sutton dumps it in as the Cats make another change. Struthers way up ahead. Past Friedrich. This will be icing. Chance to breathe here with 13-15. The pace here in this third period has been frantic up and down the ice. Both teams getting offensive chances. We've seen 2 goals in this period as a result. One from Clem and one from Bolter. Davis touches it up. Ennis. His shot goes off to the right, well over the right of the cage. Now cycled behind. Farina sets it up in front. Speth almost his third goal of the night. Fines said no. .13:02 in our third. Frederick and Clem will now battle in the far circle. Face off, Davis, Ennis in front, past Clem, now behind him, keeping it alive. Davis tried to get it into the corner, works its way into the circle, now to the right of the net, sends it in front. Bolter takes it with Frederick into the neutral zone. Frederick tracked up against the boards by Davis, seeing the puck knocked loose all the way towards the near blue line. Glasgow cycling it back around the wall to the far corner. played by Ennis out of the zone. Kicked around now and neutralized. Ending up with Vinny Farina, sending it back into the left of Fines. Ozika chops away at it. Clem will retreat all the way back to Denham Young, who comes in front of Johnson now. McAvoy looking to play it into the zone. Ends up going out of play near the Argos bench to the right of us. Parent and Luplo at center ice. Sees the puck end up with Denham Young. Mundell tried to get it into the zone from near the red line. Now coming behind, Johnson meets it. Johnson up the far boards, getting it out of the zone. Towards Luplo. Luplo passed behind Tobias Robinson. Shaw will play it near the red line, sending it back into the zone of the Bobcats. Denham Young gets trapped up against the wall. Big collision there. Loose puck ends up with Parent. Parent turns on the Jets, comes down the near boards, gets around Robinson towards the attacking zone. Near post had it taken away. Ends up back with Husley now for Providence. Trying to get it into neutral ice. Denham Young, far blue line, wins it back for the Cats. Diagonally into the middle. Mundell takes a hit from Robinson. Trying to get back on it. Robinson retreating. Robinson eventually finds Shaw. Far post now. Sending it back Shaw's way. Playing catch left to right are the Argos near their net. Towards the neutral zone now. Far blue line. Getting in the way with the flow is Jackson Mundell. Now puck trapped against the wall. Far blue line. Chopping away at it Ozika. And now we see a whistle stop play with 11:01 left. And the further, obviously, this period goes, that sort of a scenario, especially if this score stays around where it is now with the Bobcats leading, more of a situation where it behoves MSU to see pucks trapped in corners, up against the wall, scrums, 3-4 guys battling for the puck. Because guess what happens when you see that? Tick, 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 tick. That clock just keeps on moving. Serpeski fires it in behind, Fines, looks up looking for help. Gets it around the wall and towards some blue shirts. Fabian Vick gives it away. Back towards Janssens though. At the red line, trading possessions back and forth. Argos back with it, sending it high towards Johnson. Bounding puck like it's a shortstop, gloving that one easily. It's Johnson in the blue paint. That was a three-hopper, like it was about to be a 4-3 putout at Allegiance Field, Ogren Park, on a July Saturday evening. No, it's February, not time for baseball yet, Safford. 4-2 lead for the Bobcats. Fisher plays it high off the far dasher. Right back where it came from. Ronell takes a peek. Will come far side to Fisher. Good pass through the neutral zone. Sutton could it get around two men. Converging on it and giving it away in front. Seeing a whistle stop play. What do we got now with some pushing and shoving as Husley takes opposition to I believe it was Eric that was getting involved. 10-12 left. Almost disaster there with the puck given away on a miscommunication in front of the net. We'll see a face-off come and neutralize. Bobcats see come back into the zone. Centering feed. Speth could not get a chance at that shot on the near post. Janssens crunched him into the boards. Now with Husley. Adam Husley. Physical play from Clem knocks it loose. Getting it behind. Providence able to get it back out of the neutral zone. Kaloff. Right as he got towards the red line, had it jarred loose, ended up with Speth. For the Bobcats, Speth wiggling his way through traffic, gets into the zone, not much further. Husley, can he find an avenue into the attacking zone? Near the blue line, fires right to the glove of Johnson. Stopping things here at the halfway juncture just about of our third period. 2 goals on both sides of the equation. A 2-goal advantage for Montana State here at Steed Arena. Our final media timeout of regulation.
At Builders First Source, we're harnessing the power of innovation to transform the future of home building. With 14 facilities across Montana, Builders First Source is your one-stop shop for building materials. From lumber and windows to trusses and siding, whether you're building single-family homes or multifamily units, we've got you covered. Visit BLDR.com to learn more. Builders First Source, building Montana's future, one home at a time.
First punch landed in this period from Providence, cutting the deficit from 2 to 1 with a goal to start it. Quickly answering Hayden Clem in this period. That's where we find ourselves. 4 to 2. Puck coming to the right of Fines, knocking it loose. Struthers. Demchuk looked to get it out of the defensive zone. Davis waiting for it. Neutralized though. We'll see it sent back in by Luke Jurgensen. Struthers on the far post. Look to get it back out of there. Vanini able to work it to Demchuk. Frederick running with him. Demchuk shot knocked down in the far corner. Frederick tried to poke it in front. Struthers into the middle. Vanini shot off a skate, I believe of Davis, who met it in the far corner. Slides it towards Ennis. Struthers hitting the deck. Saw Mundell dump it in. Finds in between Hoppel, leave it on the near post. Looks up. Will come towards the far corner. Serpeski gets in the way. Pesky, I guess you could say, as Ellingson cycles for Larice. Keeps it in the corner. Up the wall, just a hair. Young at the point. Had a shot. Somehow end up to the pad on the near post. Looked like sticks collided. Serpeski sees a centering feed. Larice shot off to the right of the cage. Stopping play now. Serpeski's helmet goes flying. 8:13 now in the period. Looks like the Argos are going to get called for a penalty here in this instance as well. Oh, I believe a 10-minute misconduct is going to be added on to the penalty as well. Saw some talking. Officials and the defenseman, Zach Fulton, who was called for the penalty. Now it looks like Fulton is going to be ejected. Yes, Zach Fulton is going to be leaving the Montana Cup early. So Zach Fulton, frustrated in the midst of this third period battle, has been sent to the showers here. That's the first bit of bad news for the Argos. And they also will now have to kill off 2 minutes of penalty time with a 5-on-4 advantage now are the Bobcats on a power play. 8:13 on our final stanza. Argos trail by 2 and now have to lean on the penalty kill unit. Bobcats, the power play goal in the first. And the man that set it up, Hayden Clem, is out there now for the Cats. Scored one and also has assisted in tonight's contest, something he's been doing all year long. Actually had more assists on the season, 30 plus compared to goals. Almost got to the 30 goal threshold, also did Clem. 8:13 to go. And just now picking up on the song there folks were going with here in Helena, mentioning the ejection here in the Justin Timberlake, a guy thought of as, I guess you could call him a Bozeman native. He has property in the city of Bozeman, does Justin Timberlake. He's also a member of the Yellowstone Club. Had a little in sync, little Ain't No Lie Baby Bye 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 with Zach Fulton being ejected here with 8:10 to go in the third. Adam Husley, short-handed, sees the hand go up. Offsides would have been called there. Speth re-enters the zone for the Cats. Attacking Ed Duhlmeyer on the far post, trying to clear it out. Goes high, out of play in the near corner to the right of us. .7:54 now left. 4-2 lead for the Bobcats. Face-off far circle kept alive by MSU. Eric, wrist shot, Pham. Couldn't clear it initially. Frederick will look up now, pass towards the stick of Husley just down below it. 7:40 in the third. Hayden Clem neutral ice. West retreats back towards the net. Another chance for the Argos to clear it. They do. Send it down the near boards. 7:20 third period. Attacking zone comes Clem. Good stretch pass to Speth. Puts on the brakes. Back to the near circle. Bronell playing catch with Clem. Clem couldn't dance towards the net. Keeps it alive though near side. Sent towards the corner by West. Stick hits the deck. West lost his stick. Far circle. Feeds towards Ellingson. Ellingson will cycle it back to the near boards. Meeting it halfway up. More towards two-thirds was Clem. Hayden Clem comes a bit low. Hits the deck. Speth across the crease. Hitting the deck. And clearing it as a result was Kalov. I believe it was Sutton that couldn't quite keep his footing. Half the power play just about gone. 4 minutes of penalty time as a result of the penalty first on Fulton, the defenseman, for interference, and then 2 more tacked on because of the misconduct. Now 2 minutes left with 6:13 in our third. Mundell to Ben Sutton. Puts on the brakes into the middle. Back to the defenseman. Playing catch now. Sutton near post. Serpeski tried to get it to the far corner towards Irick. Loose now to the right of the net. Argos trying to clear it, trying to clear it, trying to clear it. Finally, Shaw backhands it out. 5:45 in the third. Bobcats seeing some precious time tick off for the Argos in this instance, holding on to the 2-goal lead. Controlling the puck, Hayden Clem. Trying to get around a man into the attacking zone. 2 men plant him as he comes past the blue line. Forcing Speth to retreat to Ennis. Ennis leaves it for Vinny Farina. Attacking zone, Farina. He's got plenty of speed. His shot off to the left. Knocked around to the near wall. Argos send it out further off the stick of Husley near Johnson. Kicked off his skate, goes to Speth. 50 ticks left with a man advantage for the Bobcats. Here comes Ennis towards the neutral zone. Attacking zone now, near side. Ennis puts on the brakes, hits the deck. Providence clears. Stretch pass. Off the stick of Farina, across the red line now. Partially fanning a pass. Argos get back on it. Short-handed, now approaching the neutral zone. Kalov maybe has a look at something here. Glasgow against Ellingson. Feeds it in front, nobody home in the slot. Sutton eventually retreats back towards Bronell. Looks at the clock and sees he has 10 seconds left for the Cats on this man advantage. Nearing the 4-minute mark. Sent in by Sutton. Skipping puck to the left of the cage. 3, 2, 1. Argos back to full strength, with the deficit staying at 2. The time also starting to dwindle here with now 4 minutes remaining. Frederick attacking zone off to the right on the opportunity. Demchuk slides it to Shaw. Partially fans the shot, trying to stay with it. Attacking zone. Vanini in support, can't keep it in. Comes near the bench now. Retreating back to Duhlmeyer. Duhlmeyer, stretch feed off the far dasher, taken by the Bobcats Young. McAvoy plays it in to neutralize. Smundell in a race. We'll see Fines meet it first. Shaw on the feed. Up ahead all the way down. Meeting it with the stick, no icing. Johnson will actually glove it down on the bottom right-hand post. Bringing a stop to things here with 3:25. (4-2) Bobcat lead. Face-off slammed against the wall by the Cats off the draw. Speth looking for Clem in front of him. Farina tried to regain possession. Puck loose into the offensive zone of the Cats now with a war in the corner. As time ticks down, it'll be interesting to see here with the 2-goal differential how long Fine stays in between the pipes. Loose in the far post. Farina got something on it. Husley takes it. Here's Fabian Vick. Vick trying to go through the defense, able to get it to the right of the cage. Denham Young meets it, fires it McAvoy's way. Will be Speth meeting it. Fine started gliding towards the bench and stopped, still in between the pipes. Sutton taking off his skates, but Speth glides in. Feeds Farina. His shot from the left circle ends up with Chris Fines on the bottom left-hand post. Moments ago, saw Fines come out of the blue paint and start looking to the bench and did not come off. Moments after that, saw the puck come back towards the offensive zone, so was forced to stay in there. And now we have a timeout coming for Providence.
At Builder's First Source, we're harnessing the power of innovation to transform the future of home building. With 14 facilities across Montana, Builder's First Source is your one-stop shop for building materials. From lumber and windows to trusses and siding, whether you're building single-family homes or multifamily units, we've got you covered. Visit BLDR.com to learn more. Builder's First Source, building Montana's future, one home at a time.
Music, I guess they can make their hands clap, along with the hit from the Fits and the Tantrums. Not the Fits and the Tantrums, just Fits in the Tantrums. There we go. 2:33 in our third. Out of the timeouts, you'll see the puck in the offensive zone of MSU in the far circle. Looks like Sutton and West will duel it out for, no, will be Frederick on the draw for Providence. And I would imagine that once it comes out of the offensive zone of the Bobcats here, you'll see Fines leave the blue paint and head to the bench and see that net unoccupied to give Providence as good a chance as they can try to erase a 2-goal deficit. But now they got to try to get it out of the zone first. That's the first matter of business. Shaw gets it to neutralize, but Ennis meets it right at the red line, slams it back in as we approach the 2-minute mark. Loose on the near post. Shaw off his stick, handled by Ellingson, who shoots above the cage, and Fines will smartly not glove it down. As Kaloff and West break out, here comes Fines towards the bench. 1:50 to go, an empty net, and a 2-goal deficit. Do the Argos have something wacky here? Need to score 2 in 1:42. Ellingson going towards the empty cage. Bouncing puck off just to the left. Jansen's trying to take it away from that unoccupied net. Finds Kaloff. Serpeski gloves it down and can't find the cage either. Loose right in front. Taken away by Husley. Serpeski at the blue line. Backhanding it back towards the net. Duhlmeyer has it there. Just over a minute left now. Frederick sends it into the zone to the left. Fisher fires it right back out. Shaw to Duhlmeyer. Time ticking away. Just over a minute. Husley attacking zone to Frederick. Pokes into the middle. Husley! Top shelf, couldn't find it. Just over the cage. Good look there in the left slot. 50 ticks now left in the period. Puck trapped in the corner. Bobcats will take that. Larice able to backhand it out away from the nets. Down the near dasher. Shaw runs it down and almost knocks it in his own net, looking for Duhlmeyer. Almost disaster there. Duhlmeyer, stretch pass off a stick of O'Brien, trying to get it back into the zone. Vanini chops away. Mundell takes it. He sends it towards the net. Jake Parent looks for an empty net look. He shoots. He's got it. Up against the boards with 17 seconds. The senior out of Spokane, Washington, brings an end to this one. There's the dagger in your Montana Cup final. His second goal today for Jake Parent, the senior. Surely an insurmountable lead now as the Bobcats match their largest lead of the night at 5-2. Face-off win with 15 ticks left. Neutral ice controlled. Sends it up high. McAvoy near the bench. Right up against it. Body's hitting the deck in neutral ice. Jurgensen fires it back towards Fines, who gloves it on the near post, and that will do it. The top team in the West going to Nationals, and they can say they're also the top dogs in the Treasure State. The Montana State Bobcats claim the first ever Montana Cup. And now they'll get a look at that silver piece of hardware that's been sitting down below me. Surely something to celebrate for the Bobcats, and a little push of momentum going into their run to the National Championship Tournament that will begin next month. Argos will look to take some positives away from this battle. They know what's ahead of them now. Try to get themselves a couple of wins in Westminster, Colorado, to join the Bobcats as another Treasure State team representing Montana at the National Championship Tournament. Again, congratulations goes to the Montana State Bobcats, the 2025 and inaugural Montana Cup champions. Third period that had some intrigue to it. The beginning with a 2-goal advantage. Providence were able to cut it down to 1 thanks to Katie